SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
We'll pre-record on my count. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Roll A, fade up on A.
Southern Miss to the top. You're tuned in to the Eagle Hour.
Okay, everybody, let's go. SuperTalk Eagle Hour is on the road. We're at one of our very favorite places. We're in Midtown Hattiesburg at Fuzzy's Tacos. I want to thank our good friend Jason for bringing us down here every year as he does and being such a loyal sponsor with us for the past 10 years. I'm going to start out the show by making this announcement today. Next Friday, 1 week from today, we're going to be doing our 10th anniversary show. We're going to be lining up great guests. Some of the early contributors to the show, some of the original hosts are going to be joining us, and we're going to have a full all-star lineup for 2 hours next Friday as we celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Eagle Hour. And I think we're even going to have a special guest star, and that is the owner and founder of TeleSouth / SuperTalk Media, Mr. Steve Davenport, so we're really looking forward to that. But today we're at Fuzzy's Tacos, and we've got another great guest with us, going to spend the hour with us, our good friend Glenn Dyer, one of the best sports writers that you'll ever find. And Glenn, welcome to the show, man. Thanks for coming.
Guys, it's a pleasure.
And down here at Fuzzy's, we'll be talking to the manager, Amy, here in just a few minutes, but we want to get right into it. Some of the baseball team here is eating, and what a coincidence. We bring Samnon Sundstrom on the show this week, Dima, and he's starting Saturday. It's amazing how that works, isn't it?
It is funny. Sometimes, we nail it, and other times we don't. More times than not, we don't nail it, but sometimes we get it right, and it just feels good.
Right. All right, our buddy Glenn's going to talk to us about baseball and football. Now, Glenn, I know you've been at spring football.
Yes.
They've had 2 practices, right?
Correct.
The third one today. I know it's early. But first of all, from 30,000 feet, your evaluation of what you've seen.
I mean, I've been going out there for quite some time, and generally you go out there with a kind of a thought of what your 2 deep is going to look like, and I'm sure the staff generally does that as well for sure. And I went out there on the first day, and it's like a 92% turnover. I knew 5 guys out of 100 on that field that I knew from the prior year, so it's going to be one of the biggest springs of discovery, and you've got 15 practices to figure it out.
Oh, hey, that's not much, Damon. You've been there as well.
Yeah, I told Glenn, Charles Huff, the way he approached practice is so different from Blake Anderson. Just going out there, it just feels different. A little bit more relaxed, I would say. Yep. Not as – and this doesn't mean it's wrong, but it doesn't feel as serious, if that makes sense. That doesn't mean it's wrong. It doesn't mean they're just playing around. But I'm just saying that it was very structured with Coach Huff. And Blake Anderson, a lot more running around, cheering on the players and stuff like that. But yeah, what Glenn said. I mean, I went out there and I was held their roster in my hand, and I maybe knew like a linebacker or 2 who kind of held over from last season, but other than that, I had no idea what I was looking at.
All right, it all starts with one position. We know that. It starts and ends with quarterback. Does anyone have a clue who the quarterback will be?
I'm just, from the 2 days I got to spend out there, they pulled a big pocket guy, Ethan Hampton from Illinois, who was previously at Northern Illinois, and actually went through a season when he was a starting quarterback and they beat Notre Dame 16-14. But he's a 6'3", about 230-pound big pocket guy. Has some arm talent. When I say arm talent, that doesn't mean he can just throw it hard. Arm talent means he can throw to all 3 levels of the field. And he has to, put some RPMs on it. He can do it when he has to layer it over a linebacker or get it in before safety. He showed that the first 2 days, and for me, that's huge.
Yeah. I want to ask about John White. That name, I keep asking about that. Highly, highly recruited in high school, comes here, made a big splash when he signed here, and has kind of disappeared, Glenn.
Yeah, I mean, when Coach Huff came here, he brought his gunslinger. Nobody was going to be on the field other than him. And then they brought in Landry Liddy from UAB to be their backup. And they brought in another guy from Boston College who they wanted to be their backup, but he just couldn't get it on the field. So, it kind of fell to Liddy. So, yeah, John's just kind of been an afterthought. And to the positive to John, a lot of kids, most kids nowadays will pack it and go home. But he stayed here and worked and tried to get to know the coordinators and tried to learn the offense. And he's out there competing for, playing time.
And I always thought, when you looked at his resume coming out of high school, that was really people say, well, he played private school football, which is a little bit different than MHSAA football. But look, numbers are numbers, and you got to be able to execute. I wonder if because he certainly is cerebral enough to handle the position
and tough.
But I wonder, is it just his height or his lack of height, Glenn? Do you think is holding him back the most?
Well, I think both of those quarterbacks, Landry and John, have similar physical limitations with being the 5'11" to 6 foot range, 195, and some arm strength that will limit some of the game plan you want to put in for them. They live off being cerebral, tough, and accurate. You have to build your offense around that.
But when you look at D1 quarterbacks generally across the board, they're going to be in that 6'3", 6'4" range,
sure.
Ideally.
You want him to be, yeah,
right.
Certainly.
Yeah, but there's obviously nothing you can do about
that.
Yeah,
and look at Braylon Braxton last year, 6'3", 230, just a monster, and he could run. He was the best of both worlds until he got hurt.
But you got another 6'3", 225 guy in Hampton now.
Yeah. Not the
I don't think he's 6. Is he 6'3"?
He's 6'2", 6'3".
Okay.
Yeah. And he's not the athlete. He's a different quarterback from Braylon,
right.
But he's a better pure passer than Braylon. So it's like when we talked to Blake the other day. He goes, it's going to take me some time to get my hands around what we got out here, but once I figure it out, I will build my offense around what I have.
So Hampton appears to be more of an NFL-style drop-back passer.
Pure pro drop-back passer.
And I think what's important to note about Hampton is when Will Hall brought in all these quarterbacks from other universities, none of them had a Division I staff.
Over 4 years.
Over 4 years. They might be good recruits or from schools with big names such as Clemson or Florida State, but Hampton has done it before and on this level, which I think is important. Now, Glenn, another part of importance is who's you going to throw to, right? These receiver core just completely wiped out. You have all new guys, all skill positions, not just receivers, running backs as well. Out there, I thought I saw some nice route runners. I don't know any names, of course, just looking at them, but wondered if you could help us out there.
Yeah, they pulled some guys. They pulled a guy from the University of Illinois, pulled a guy from Penn State, grabbed some D2 guys and some FCS guys. It's just a hodgepodge mixture of guys. The thing that stood out to me is they were all 5'10" to 6 foot guys, smaller guys, slot kind of guys. But what they did show the first 2 days is their ability to separate. They have some speed, so that was encouraging. Now they're going to have to solve a problem out wide with some big possession guys. But I think if Davis Dalton can stay healthy, a guy like him can be a big plus. And they had a guy that was with them over at Utah State that didn't play a lot last year. His name was Page, 6'3", about 215 pounds. He's coming off a knee injury. He's another guy that looked good the other day, on some deep routes, hauling in balls over smaller corners.
Caden Saunders came over from Penn State. I think that was the name. It looked like he was not practicing. Was that correct?
Yeah, it looked like kind of a soft tissue kind of pull or some sort.
And Bob talked about the importance, of course, of the quarterback position, but Joe Burrow is living proof you can be a great quarterback, but if you don't have a line to protect you, it's bad news.
Well, yeah, back to what Bob said about the quarterback position, that's definitely true, but you're only going to be as good as your O-line, and that's been a bone of contention over the last 2 or 3 years. We have not been able to run the football since Frank Gore left campus.
Well, it's like Tom Brady said one time, even I can't throw on my back.
Yeah.
Right.
And to that, when we talked to Blake after the Western Kentucky loss in the bowl game, we asked him, said, what's the first position, when you're going to have to look for an NIL to improve your situation? He said, we couldn't run the football this year. Our O-line wasn't big and physical enough to actually get that done. Our tight ends weren't physical enough in the run game. They weren't big enough. We're going to go address that. And over the first 2 days, they have addressed that. I don't know how athletic these guys are, but they could easily average 320, 30 pounds across. Big kids.
Are these all new kids, too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to that, they got pulled in 9 guys from junior college, some Division II, some FCS guys. The only problem is, out of those 9 guys, not one of them has played one FCS snap. So, and Blake alluded to it. They don't have experience at this level. So it's,
you're not painting. You're not painting a
I'm
great
speaking
picture.
truth, Bob.
You can get some margaritas behind us if you
make it a double.
And really, because of the current
extra
landscape,
tequila, please.
Because of the current landscape in college football, don't you think, Glenn, that more and more NIL money is going to start going to offensive linemen?
Oh, definitely.
But they're expensive.
The left tackle is the great unicorn, and no G5 team's going to get a legit left tackle anymore. Their team's paying $500,000-$600,000 for people's backup tackles at G5 levels just to bring them to their practice squad at Ohio State or LSU or Florida.
Bob did not make that kind of money at Holmes Junior College.
No,
Different time.
close, but it wasn't quite that.
Well, Glenn makes that money on his site, right, Glenn?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, we know Glenn's
And I don't want to cast a
Mm-hmm.
disparaging cloud over the football team. It's just that there's a ton of discovery and work to do. I see bodies that can get it done. It's going to be up to putting guys in the right places, and to get it done. Guys, and developing a scheme that's going to fit what they can do. They wanted to run the football last year. They couldn't do it. And once Braylon went down, that took away their only run threat for the most part.
I think it's safe to say, Glenn, that the first few practices are kind of feeling it out, but we're not going to really know a lot about this team.
These guys aren't even
we really see them on a scrimmage.
Yeah.
They have 3 or 4 scrimmages over the spring, but that spring game at the end of April will be time telling.
Oh yeah, that's discovery time for us to actually lay eyes.
All right, we're at Fuzzy's Tacos down in Midtown. That's the football breakdown. Glenn's going to hang around. We're going to talk to Amy about Fuzzy's for a few minutes, and then we're going to venture over to what's happening in about, Dame, 4.5 hours?
Yep, baseball right across the street.
All right, Super Talk Eagle Hour on the road, Fuzzy's Tacos. We'll be right back.
The Eagle Hour. Southern Miss to the top.
Welcome back, everybody. Beautiful Friday afternoon at Fuzzy's Tacos. They've got the garage door open. The breeze is coming through. It's just such a great place right here in the corner of Midtown. And before we bring Amy on, I'll tell you what I got here, Kelly. I got a pair of chairbacks for tonight, Saturday, and Sunday.
Holy cow.
For the weekend series with App State. So I'm going to give you a phone number, 601-906-5862, 601-906-5862. Text me, be the first person, text me your name and your phone number, and when I get it, I'll set you up and leave your tickets tonight at will call.
If there's
chairbacks tonight, Saturday, and Sunday.
If they're single, can you get their address too?
It wouldn't do you any good, but I'll try to do that.
No, that's
Can
fine.
we put Kelly's number on live on air too? Was that your personal cell?
Then I would be responsible for anything he might say. And then sweet ladies like Amy would never let me down here at Fuzzy's again. Amy, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
We're always really happy when you replace Justin. Have we ever told you that?
Yes, you told me I bring in more fans.
There's I think that
More listeners.
I think the reason is obvious.
Right.
We love Justin, but
I'm a lot cuter.
That pretty much goes without saying.
She can say that. You can't anymore, right? In this politically correct world?
I was just about to say it, but but I don't think Amy would sue me for anything like that.
No, not at all.
So you good?
I'm great.
Well, good.
We've been really busy.
All right, so this will be a big weekend. Baseball. How good is Southern Miss baseball for Fuzzy's Tacos?
Southern Miss baseball is great for Fuzzies, and we're always busy. Of course, this is the place to be. We're family friendly. We're pet friendly. We're golf cart friendly. And we're Kelly friendly.
Boy,
place to be. So, yeah, this is the place you want to be on game day.
Yeah.
I don't
Before
want
and
to see
after
the
the game.
definition of that.
No, you said dog friendly.
Yes.
What's
or
that
pet
mean?
friendly.
Pet friendly.
Pets on the patio. You bring your pets. We'll bring them a little water bowl out there.
Okay.
Yep.
But not in the restaurant.
Not in the restaurant, unless
Right.
they're obviously,
Right.
Support animals.
Support animal,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, well, that's health codes. I
Yeah.
don't think they allow that.
Yeah.
Tell us about Happy Hour. And, of course, I know we're almost into the month of April, but Cinco de Mayo plans already
We
coming
have a
about.
lot of great things coming up. Well, Happy Hour, we're just minutes away, 2 to 6 every single day, Sunday through Saturday or Monday through Sunday, however you want to do that, every single day. Then we have our Taco Tuesday every Tuesday with our 250 tacos and 350 tacos. And then Monday, we're rolling out a new beverage menu as well. So we're going to have a Mexican candy margarita on there. We have some non-alcoholic beverages, some flavored lemonades coming, a non-alcoholic mangalada. So something really fun. And then, of course, Cinco de Mayo is right around the corner, and we're going to have something really fun planned this year for that. And it's on Taco Tuesday.
And you guys have to plan at least probably a month out, right, for anything you've got going on?
This stuff is planned probably 6 months out with, our
wow.
home office, not just here locally, about 6 months out, and then we'll start, getting communication about 3 months out on it.
Now, you talked about a different drink menu.
Mm-hmm.
Why? I mean,
If you know anything about Fuzzy's Taco Shop, we have about 140 locations right now, and not all locations have a bar. Some just have, a cashier, and they make your drinks there. And so we don't have an official Fuzzy's menu. So this is going to be an official, like you can go to any Fuzzy's anywhere in the U.S. and get these drinks everywhere. And then, of course, we'll still have our own local menu as well. But just some really great drinks coming down the line that you can go to any Fuzzy's Taco Shop and get.
The flavored margaritas are always the regular margarita is great, but you can flavor them as well.
Well, you'll love this Mexican candy.
The blackberry margarita is killer. It's really good.
Yep.
I like the watermelon.
Yeah.
Watermelon.
I just prefer lime because I don't like all that sweetness. I'm already too sweet. So
You are pretty sweet. All right, I know one thing you guys do a fabulous job of is catering, and that's a big part of your business. Talk a little bit about that.
We love doing it. I mean, it's really fun, but it's easy setup. We have about 5 people that could deliver every morning. So usually they come in a day or two ahead of time, and then we'll line them up. Sometimes 4, 5, 6 caterings in a day.
Are there limits on the number of people?
Nope. Well, I think it starts at 10. Other than that, like you can order a family meal. There's like a regular family meal and a large family meal. You can order like online anytime. The easy caters are 8 hours in advance. Mm-hmm. Most people do 24 or 12 hours. Ours is 8 hours in advance. So if you're home the night before and you're like, oh my goodness, I got to get a catering, go on Easy Cater.
Now, is this catering that you pick up? Is this catering that you can make arrangements to set up?
However you like. And then we also get a lot of guest teams. Like this next weekend coming up, we're going to be hosting a softball team that's coming into town. Not even sure I didn't get their name. but we're going to be delivering to them at the softball fields next week.
One of the things I like about Fuzzy's, too, is they're very conscious about the community around them. You do fundraisers. You'll have live bands in the parking lot sometimes to raise money.
Right.
Motorcycle groups will come in. Like, so you got the regularly scheduled things like Cinco de Mayo. So always very conscious of the community that you're into. Man, Midtown's bustling.
And we do profit shares every week as well. Those fill up really quick, mostly with the Southern Miss organizations on campus. So you have to kind of plan those a month or two out. But we do those Mondays or Tuesday nights.
And that's where you come in a percentage of your
goes back
bill.
to the organization.
Yeah. So that's another way that they stay active.
Yeah, and Fuzzy's is just in such a great location for exactly what you want to accomplish here with the outdoor bar and everything. I mean, can you talk about this location just being? I mean, people can walk from here to Pete Taylor Park.
It's so much fun. It's so convenient. I'm really sad that it wasn't here when I was in college because this was just a gravel lot at that time. But it's just fun. Like it's just the atmosphere is just indescribable. It's just a fun place to be.
And one thing about Fuzzy's too, Fuzzy's, for people that may not know, when this Midtown idea first surfaced, I believe Fuzzy's was the first business to invest and set up here.
I believe so. It was before my time, but I'm pretty sure it was the first one that opened up.
And it's truly been remarkable how this has developed.
Almost the last one standing.
And it is a great location, sure enough. But I'll tell you that something else that needs to be noted is that Fuzzy's runs a good business, and they're running a good business because, and I'm not going to mention the names of the businesses, but there have been other Midtown businesses very close to Fuzzy's that have not done well. So that the business model and Fuzzy's attention to detail and attention to customer service is paying off because some of these other restaurants and so have gone belly up where Fuzzy's is rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
Right, and we hate to see that. We like the competitiveness and we like there to be options. We like to see school buses roll in and have 3 or 4 different places. So it is sad to see some of our neighbors come and go. But we're still standing.
And clearly, Amy, the place to be on Wednesday night is here at Fuzzy's for
trivia.
Pub Poll Trivia, which is very much like
shameless, isn't it?
Shameless plug.
And what most people don't know, it is family friendly. We get a lot of mostly families, and sometimes even their kids will join their own little team.
Yeah, because it's like Family Feud on TV, and a lot of the questions sometimes will deal with Disney movies and the things that kids would be able to participate in and know the answers to.
Well, nowadays they have phones, and so they can Google it quicker than others.
All right, fresh is good. One thing, when you eat food from this restaurant, it always has that taste of being very fresh.
Cook every single day.
I'm assuming every morning y'all are in here making all the prep for the day.
Every single day we cook and prep.
Yeah. What time do you start to get ready for lunch, let's say?
7 o'clock. And we actually opened up at 9 o'clock, our full menu all day long, but we get in here about 7 o'clock.
With the breakfast menu, too, yeah?
Yeah, and that's all day long, too.
What kind of breakfast menu? I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We have the burritos and tacos, breakfast burritos and tacos, and on Sundays we have the $2.49 breakfast tacos.
I got you.
So sausage and eggs and things that you...
Oh, yeah.
The number one meal here that people order more than any.
Our quesadilla tacos.
What is that?
Quesadilla tacos. And that's only been on our menu for about a year, and they surpass everything that we
What is
sell.
that?
It's the birria meat, like it's a beef birria meat. It's marinated in a consomme sauce, and then we put it on the grill on a soft shell with cheese, onion, cilantro, and it's just so delicious.
Yeah, it's beef, but the way they season it, it's got a little kick to it. Got a little bit.
What are you? Are you Chef Kelly now?
Well, believe me, when it comes to food, I do have a little bit of expertise.
Kelly does your trivia on Wednesday. How many pounds of beef does he normally eat in that couple of hours?
I'm working. I'm working.
That's hard to say.
You know I'm a highly skilled professional. I don't do anything while I'm working.
Dima, you want to comment on that?
Not really. Not really.
Amy, what's up for this weekend?
Southern Miss baseball.
Yeah.
All weekend long. And it's going to be beautiful weather all weekend long. I think everybody's kind of finally getting back from spring break. So
I'll tell you what, if you haven't done this, I've done this a lot, but I did this last Saturday. My daughter was in town. So we came over after the game. Big win. We come over, have a margarita, and just kind of chill out. And the atmosphere in here on a Saturday afternoon after the Golden Eagles have won a baseball game is worth coming just to be part of the atmosphere.
And we're open till 11 o'clock on Fridays. So now after the game on Fridays, you can come out here and celebrate our win.
Winning helps, doesn't it, Amy?
Absolutely. In every single sport, absolutely.
And if you get great weather like this weekend, they got the cornhole boards that you can play, things out in the parking lot. Or out
you have patio seating, which I think is always very nice. Well, Amy, it would be an understatement to tell you that we love coming here. It is really our favorite remote site that we ever come to.
We love y'all coming here, too, and I'm sure
you always treat us so well, and you feed us, and you're just wonderful, and we thank you for everything.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Amy, who runs this joint, Kelly Sander, and still allows you to come down here.
She's a great American.
I do want to talk to you about that after the show, Amy. We'll be right back. More Super Talk Eagle Hour from the great Fuzzy's Tacos in Midtown Hattiesburg.
You're tuned in to the Eagle Hour. The Eagle Hour. Southern Miss to the top.
Hey, welcome back. I want to thank Amy for joining us and inviting us down here, Fuzzy's Tacos, to broadcast our show today. Numerous times that we've been here, and they've been one of our original sponsors since we started this show. We could not be more grateful to Justin Harris and Amy and all these great people that comprise Fuzzy's Tacos and Dickey's Barbecue. Same ownership and same great company.
Yeah, Dickey's is out busy catering today, aren't they? Their whole crew's out.
For sure. Hey, real quick, want to congratulate Carolyn Clark of Ellisville. She and whomever she likes to take. She's already indicated that will not be you, Kelly. She won chairbacks Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to the Southern Miss App State game. Some of the ball players in here having fuzzies, weren't they, Dima?
Yeah. We saw Camden Sundstrom and Joey Urban, and, shout out Christian Russell, who's one of the graduate assistants. He sits up in the press box with us and gives us all the stats we ask for, so shout out C-Russ. And, it's I think it's great to see the baseball team, around the community, and, nobody looks at them any differently. They're still humans, You don't want to prop them up way too much, and they're just having fun before a game tonight, which is what they should be doing.
All right, before we break down the game tonight, the weekend, tell me about you sent me an early season regional projection last night, and if we could freeze this and guarantee that this will be the regional in Hattiesburg, I'd take it.
Well, it's never going to happen. There's so many things wrong with this projection that Baseball America sent out. Before I get to Southern Miss, they have Oregon State hosting a regional in Corvallis, and the 2 seed is Coastal Carolina, which would just never happen. I mean, that would not. They would never fly Coastal Oregon State. They always try to get relatively close teams into regionals, but they projected Southern Miss as the 10 seed, with Cincinnati being the 2 seed out of the Big 12, Creighton being the 3 seed out of the Big East, and then Little Rock out as the 4 seed, which Little Rock would be a great story. I mean, obviously Ostrander and their head coach, I always forget Little Rock's head coach's name, but Oz and him are pretty close, so that would be a great story for the 1-4 matchup. But obviously the story there is no SEC team in the regional.
And Glenn shaking his head no to that right now.
And they would be paired, according to this regional projection, with the Georgia regional in Athens, which, I mean, if you've watched Georgia or followed them at all this year, they are not good. I don't think they're good at all. I mean, they're a good team, but they're not, the states or the top tier Texas SEC.
But if you're in the SEC, that's all you have to be.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, but Dima Mixon has his own idea. He's pretty convinced that we will have a Hattiesburg regional, and he knows who the number 2 team will be.
Well, I don't know about 2. If LSU is in the regional, they'll be the 3 seed. Because they're just not going to have a good enough record to be a 2 seed.
So you think LSU's destined to come back to Hattiesburg?
If LSU's either coming here if they make the tournament and Ole Miss hosts, and if Ole Miss does not host, Ole Miss will be the 2 seed here for sure. I would bet money on it.
I would prefer Ole Miss.
I wouldn't. They got some good arms. Yeah. My gosh. LSU's been terrible. Yeah. I would be convinced that Southern Miss could win that game.
Well, let's say LSU's terrible right now. LSU kind of has this knack. When the summer heats up, so does LSU. Am I right, Glenn?
Much like Southern Miss's offense.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about Appalachian State. We flushed out the Tuesday night game, Glenn. That's really all you can do is just flush that and move forward. Golden Eagles, how do you like this matchup?
It's going to be interesting. App's solid. They've given lots of good teams trouble. Coastal Carolina among those. They're just like they were the last 2 times we played them. I call them pesky. They don't have a lot of power, but they will single you to death. You give them walks and they get traffic on, they'll start going station to station and just single you to death. They're good contact guys, good hitters, but like I said, they won't overwhelm you. And they've seemingly lost a lot of games late that maybe they could have pulled out, but not for problems in the bullpen. And they also are last in the conference in defense, so they've had some critical errors down the stretch that have cost them late.
I thought the secret to beating Troy in the weekend series was to get to their bullpen. Proved to be true. Once the Eagles got in the bullpen, they won the games. Is that the case here?
I think even more so. I was quasi-impressed, came away impressed with 2 or 3 of their bullpen arms that I wasn't aware of that they had the stuff that they had. So, kudos to them. They were stronger than I thought they were.
Zima?
Yeah, I'm really interested we talked a lot about Southern Miss's bullpen, of course, and now we're getting an answer on the rotation with Sundstrom coming out of the pen, going to the starting role. So my question now is, how dominant will the Southern Miss bullpen be versus the App State? Of course, the numbers are better, but those numbers include a Camden Sundstrom who's given them consistently 4 or 5 innings in a bridge piece role. Now, I agree with the decision, and that's what I predicted, that it would be
Graydon we talked about it kind of yesterday.
Yep, Graydon Harrison and Camden Sundstrom in a TBA on Sunday, but it does leave, a big void in that bridge gap, but they have a lot of arms, so it probably won't hurt them, but I am interested to see how they approach it.
And you kind of plugging Colby in there where Camden was. But what does this say about the young man that's been starting on Sunday, Glenn? I mean, he hasn't really done that bad. McCarty English, has he?
No, and he's had last week particularly had some tough luck. Some weak singles. His defense let him down at times, and I don't think the book's closed on him. I think there's still a possibility that you'll see him, and they also may try to, Sunday. I think we've talked about it a little bit, Dima. That that approach that we take on weekdays with kind of that whole staff approach of younger guys. I mean, they could pull that approach on a Sunday with maybe a few more of the more experienced arms mixed in and have a really good scenario, because it's hard to see a guy, inning after inning, a different guy, particularly lefties and righties and different stuff guys. You just never get a chance to adjust.
Well, that's why I thought McCarty English would still be the Sunday guy, because that's basically what he's been doing. He hasn't gone more than 5 innings, which was against North Alabama but he's only given them about 2 or 3 innings. But like I said on our show, Glenn, he hasn't cost them a game. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think they've lost a Sunday game this season. I'll stop. The Arkansas State game they lost, but that was because of errors in the infield, right? So outside of that game, I don't think they've lost a Sunday game. So he's never left the game with the game in jeopardy. No. He's just not extended the length. But like Glenn said, they don't have to do that. But they've had Camden Sundstrom to kind of save them on Sundays, and they will not have that this weekend.
And I thought McCarty got hit pretty hard. Graydon Harris hit pretty hard last weekend.
Yeah, I mean, and Oz was the first to admit that Camden didn't have his best stuff. So, those games are going to happen. You just, you can roll out 3 great appearances, and then you have that one where you don't have command of your stuff. Your velo may be a little down.
But overall, he has been the best starter.
Yeah,
correct?
I'm not concerned with him at all.
Yeah, big, strong lefty.
Oh, yeah, big power lefty who now has command of 2 more pitches.
Yeah. Does the way this series go dictate the availability of Higdon? You know what I'm saying? If things were to go well for Southern Miss without potential, these are all hypothetical.
I'm just saying you don't have to run him out there.
Correct.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're in a tight spot and they need a lefty-righty matchup to come off the bench in a pitch-hit situation, sure, go get him.
All right, and that brings us to hitting. And hitting has been difficult to watch a little bit, maybe.
Sure, but I'm going to hang my hat on over the last 4 years. Did you ever discuss those numbers with them? The averages over 4 years. We guy on my board ran an average of the hits per game, runs per game, and batting average over a 4-year period, month by month by month, and it plays out the same over a 4-year period. Start out kind of hot. March is really bad, and then when April gets here, kind of right after during Easter. April and May, Southern Miss has been on fire 4 years in a row during those times, which led them right into tournament time. Mm-hmm. So when it heats up at the peak, bats heat up. I still believe that.
The best predictor of future behavior is past behavior.
I agree.
Why is that? Why do you think hitting improves when the weather gets warm?
You have more of a book on pitchers. Pitchers become a little tireder. Their velo's a little down. It gets hotter. Just physics alone dictates what that ball's going to do off a bat. And batters have their timing down. It's a lot of positives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you're pretty optimistic that offensively we'll get this turned around.
Yeah, if we get to the end of May and you and I are still having this conversation, I'll be concerned.
The thing that worries me a little bit is the way that they did play Coastal. Because you could go, well, Southern Miss, they're at home. Southern Miss, defends their home turf pretty well.
You mean Mississippi State?
No.
App.
No, App.
App.
Kelly, they're pesky. If you let them hang around, you'll get beat.
That's what I'm saying. That worries me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
and they have a really good rotation. I mean,
talk about that Saturday guy.
Yeah, the Saturday guy has a sub 150 ERA, and he's 7 innings against Coastal and 2 hit that offense, which is exceptionally good. He has only given up, I think it was 20 hits in all of his over the whole season, if I remember correctly off my stats. Which averages out to about 3 per start. So he's been they're Saturday guys. They're due.
Both of you guys were at the presser yesterday with Oz. What was Oz's demeanor after what? That would have been 48 hours after the performance in Starkville.
Yeah, obviously I was in Starkville, so I saw his demeanor after the game, and he was not happy. But it's one of those you just flush. And he said, I hope the guys learn from it, and we need to learn from it, but you can't let that control your mindset or whatever this weekend against App State.
All right, one more segment to go here at Fuzzy's Tacos in Midtown. Glenn Dyer, our guest with us today. We'll be right back. Everybody stay with us.
Southern Miss to the top. You're tuned in to the Eagle Hour.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Fuzzy's Tacos. That's where the Super Talk Eagle Hour is at today. I want to thank again Amy and our good buddy Justin Harris for inviting us down. I want to thank our equally good friend Glenn Dyer for joining us. Man, it's always good to have you on the show, Glenn.
My pleasure. I always enjoy it.
All right, let's break this thing down before we go to news and notes, and we'll let Dima wrap up that. Let's do the weekend prediction. Dima, let's start with you. What do the Golden Eagles do this weekend?
Prediction, I would say if I had to predict it, and I'd say 2 out of 3, but they really need a sweep. Personally, anything less than a sweep, I'd be pretty disappointed I would be looking at this team kind of differently, I think.
Glenn?
Yeah, I expect a sweep. And ideally we need one if you want to continue to be at the front lines, chasing, who's at the top if you want to be in that conversation.
Kelly?
I think the way that they played Coastal, and because baseball can be such a volatile game, I think, and Coach Ostrander's talked about 2 out of 3, win every series. So I think the safe play is 2 out of 3.
Well, that is the safe play, but I concur with my two associates here. The Golden Eagles have ground they need to make up. That really hurt up at Arkansas State, and they need to sweep this and stay on Coastal's rear end.
Well, yeah, they're already 3 games back because Coastal started with 2 sweeps, and of course, Coastal's schedule doesn't get any harder. They avoid Southern Miss and Troy.
Yeah.
So they go to Marshall this weekend, which you would think Marshall could get one from them. They do go to Louisiana and Arkansas State. But they avoid Southern Miss and Troy, which is just insane.
And it's so wrong.
How can you be the legitimate regular season champion and not play Southern Miss or Troy?
Yeah, who's in charge of making those?
My argument is if that was Southern Miss's schedule, nobody would question their legitimacy if they were to schedule.
But wouldn't you still want to play Coastal? You would, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but you wouldn't complain about not playing.
But you still know in the back of your mind you got a break.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, they're not complaining.
Right. And eventually,
Southern Miss fans wouldn't.
And eventually, you're going to have to play them. You're going to have to play them anyway.
It's honest.
You talking about our humble, quiet, respectful fans would not say.
If Southern Miss was 6-0 right now and didn't have Coastal and Troy, they'd be like, okay, well, we'll see them next year.
Not our fault. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So it goes both ways.
Well, we still got a little time. A lot of basketball going on. Another thrilling game last night between Iowa and Nebraska. Just unbelievably exciting. What's on tap tonight, guys?
Well, my alma mater of Iowa State gets another SEC team, Tennessee, among
Rocky
one of those
Top.
games. Michigan and Michigan State are not playing each other, but they're still.
It's Michigan, Alabama, I think, and then UConn and Michigan State, that's going to be a phenomenal basketball game.
Of course, Dima's got his fingers crossed, Bob, that all the Big Ten teams will be.
Well, the Big Ten right
close.
now looks to be in a position to dominate.
There is a possibility that the Big Ten could get all 4 Final Four teams.
Has the Big Ten become the premier collegiate athletic league in the country? Don't let me ask you that. Glenn, what do you say?
I would say not in baseball. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, definitely not in baseball. It never will be. Too weather.
But basketball and football, Glenn.
Yeah, most definitely. You look at probably 5 to 10 teams in the way that things are made up with NIL now. Ohio State's over the world. Michigan's over the world.
Indiana.
That's an outlier.
Yeah. Then you bring in Oregon, baseball, basketball, football.
They brought in USC as well.
Yeah.
USC, Oregon, UCLA.
Which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but nevertheless.
No, I laugh at, I follow the Big Ten Conference on Twitter, and I always laugh at Rutgers going to UCLA for swim practice or swim whatever meet.
How about USC going to Northwestern for girls volleyball? What kind of sense does that make? Right?
To the tune of $250,000.
Right.
Which is nothing to those schools.
Yeah, you're right.
But, and this could happen, probably won't, but you could have a national basketball championship final of Michigan versus Michigan State.
Or Iowa State.
Or you could have Iowa and Iowa State. Iowa has already punched their ticket to the Elite Eight.
And all teams are legit.
To me, I think the 2 outliers are still Duke and Arizona. They've still been the clean above best teams, and they're still, on par. Duke plays St. John's tonight. Arizona punched their ticket to the Elite Eight last night. Pretty handily took care of Arkansas. So I expect those 2 teams to still be in the Final Four, but there's still some runs.
Don't take St. John's for granted.
No, they got a really good coach, really good team, but Duke's just been a step above everybody else so far this season.
I'd love to see St. John's get there to see if Pitino won the national championship, would he crack a smile?
No, but he probably would be at another school next year.
Yeah.
North Carolina's looking for their job's open.
Hey, Glenn, always a pleasure, man, to have you.
Thanks.
I know
I
you're
enjoyed
looking
it.
forward to a good weekend of baseball at the Peak.
Oh, yeah.
Weather should be spectacular,
Yeah.
right, guys?
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah. All right, so bottom line, come Easter, the Golden Eagle bats will come alive. And is this not correct, guys? With this staff, with these arms, this batting team, this batting average comes up. They start scoring 6, 7, 8 runs a game. They are going to be very, very difficult to beat.
Yeah, complete roster, complete team. So, yeah.
You concur?
They just got to do it.
Yep, just got to do it.
Bob's
I'm not confident they're going to do it until they start doing it. So.
Yeah. Bob he's got reservations in Omaha. He just wants to feel better.
I haven't canceled them yet. I'm hanging on. All right, thanks to Amy and all the great folks here at Fuzzies. Back in the studio Monday, 10th anniversary show next Friday. We'll be giving you more information about that when we get back after watching Southern Miss beat Appalachian State 3 straight. Southern Miss
to the top.
Time keeps on slipping into the future. I wanna fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let my spirit carry me. I want to fly like an eagle till I'm free. I go through the revolution.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.